Hey guys, it's AW here, Aaron Warder. This video is nothing, actually, anything related to any of my content on YouTube. It's actually more of a personal video, something I'm dealing with right now. This week, and a couple times this year, I have not been myself. I do have sometimes mental health problems. I deal with issues. Dealt with them all my life. But this week it's been really, really bad. Sometimes I can't sleep. Sometimes I wake up early when I don't want to. When I wake up, I always cough for some reason, and makes me sweat. I don't. It's not any viruses. It's just my mind. It's how I feel right now. I don't know. I don't know. I have had depression in the past. I wouldn't say this is depression. Maybe it's just me thinking too much. But this is a personal thing. I sometimes I keep my stuff private on YouTube, right? My personal life private on YouTube. But this video is gonna be deep. It's gonna be actually not private. This is gonna go to my personal stuff. Why, perhaps why I feel like this at times. Well, this year is 2022. And this I haven't told anybody. I told people off screen, but not publicly. But it's almost been 10 years, 10 years since my father's passing, 2012. About 7 months. October is when he passed, in 2012. So it's June now, so about 4 months from now, it's about 10 years. 10 years. 10 years I've been dealing with my father's past, and it's this. You really don't get over things like that. People you care about passing away. I certainly haven't. It's because me and my father were close. We're very close. We did things together. Go to baseball games, movies at times. He helped me with homework, helped me with school. Was there for me when I needed him. We were very close. He was my father, doing my father obligations to a child to do, raise them, teach them good manners, teach them to be respectful, all that stuff, like what a father do. But also, he was my friend. He was a New York Yankee fan, I was a Blue Jay fan. We always fought about that for fun. But, that's friendly. But he was also like a friend to me. But it's most important, he was a father to me. But it's almost been 10 years, and it still really hurts. It hurts. I'm telling you, it hurts. I think about it a lot. I have a problem where I think about stuff way too much, and it gets to me. And, fuck. This is hard. I'm sorry. It's the way he passed. There's some regret in me. I'll tell you the brief history. So my father was diagnosed with leukemia in 2000, I believe. The end of 2000. Leukemia. Cancer, basically. Right? So, we were supposed to go to a hockey game. The Toronto Maple Leafs were supposed to pretty much, but he was sick. We didn't know why he was sick. It wasn't a flu or anything like that, apparently. So he had to go to the hospital. I went to the hockey game. I mean, I had the flu. I did have the flu in October, November that year. I was out for a week and a half of school. But that's irrelevant to this, really. But yeah, I went to the Leaf game. The Leafs did beat Pittsburgh. Came home. I went with my cousin instead. One of my cousins took me. I was supposed to go with my dad. And it's very hard to get Leaf tickets. Trust me, in Toronto. But go next few days I was at the hospital. They did tests, whatever the test what they needed to do, and it was determined that he had cancer. Leukemia, pretty much leukemia. Yeah, I was 13, 12, 13. I didn't know much about the cancer then. I mean, I knew of cancer, but I didn't know like the seriousness of it, as you could say. And that really affected me. Like for 2000, 2001, I was my last year of elementary school in Canada. We have elementary school in high school. It was last year. He had to stay home. He got chemo and stuff. He had to shave his head, to be bald. All that stuff you need to do, right? That chemo does, right? And chemo is a painful thing for a cancer patient to take. It takes your energy away. I I know because I've seen it. So he got that. He had to come home, right? Come home. And he was a teacher, but he had to take obviously work off the heal. And okay, so it wasn't life threatening then, right? It wasn't life threatening then at the time. But the thing is, it does come back. It came back later. So my high school years, there were times where you had to go in the hospital, and there were times there weren't. And my friends, my teachers knew the condition of my father, and it definitely did affect me. I forgot what grade it was in high school, but he did go in the hospital because because his immune system is weak, right? So almost anything, for a normal person, almost anything they get leads him to the hospital. If he has a normal fever, for him it's a hospital visit. For us, it's not. But for him, it's a normal hospital visit. My high school years, he has gone to the hospital a few times. My high school years were tough because of that. But I was young, still young. Didn't think of anything because he always came home alive. It felt better at times. He always came home alive, so I felt like, oh, he's fine, right? Okay. And then 2006 to 2007 came along. Personally, for me, that was my worst mental state year ever until 2012. Well, late 2012. 2006, 2007, I was suffering from severe depression. Really, really bad depression. I didn't go out that much. I didn't enjoy the things I loved. I still watch them, but I didn't have the same excitement for the things I loved. It was a bad depression. It was terrible. And yes, there's thoughts of that suicide stuff. And yes. It was a terrible year for me. Terrible year. I went to Arizona for my cousin's wedding. Maybe take a break, right? But that didn't help that much. I still had it. And there was this one day where alone in the hotel, I broke down. I broke down really, really badly. I really broke down. So I did go to see the psychiatrist, talk about my feelings, and it takes time. When in late 2007, the depression did slowly go away. I started to get over stuff. I started to enjoy things I loved. It did go away. I wasn't pro medicine or anything like that. I wasn't to that extent. I wasn't diagnosed with anything. Just had depression, like a lot of people do, or do now, or did. It's not a pleasant feeling, I'll tell you that. It's horrible. Horrible. It takes everything, what you enjoy out of you. And it's hard. It's But yeah, then I started to go to college. And then he was teaching high school, but not full time because it keeps coming back leukemia, so let's go back in chemo. But there was one point where 2009, 2010, where it got really serious, and he couldn't. It got to a point where it was really affecting him in school and stuff. He couldn't work and stuff, and I this is a son should never do. Like a child should never do to their parent. Suggest retirement. I remember the day. I remember the day we were talking about my mother and I and my father taught at dinner table one night, and I brought up the idea of retirement. Me, the son, bring up the idea of retirement. Not the parent. The parents should bring up the idea of them retiring, right, from the job they love. And he loved teaching. And it was his passion, math. And I'm the one that brings up the idea of retirement to him, the son. That should never happen. And he deeply did consider it. And fortunately, because how sick he was, because like normal, not normal, I would say, like cancer patients or people that deal with weak immune systems, they're gonna get sick over and over, and it's gonna affect their daily life, the work, and so he's oh fuck. He went for it. He decided to retire. Now he did tutor, to make some money. He could have done that. He did that. Tutor people, but yeah, this is actually making me sick to my stomach saying this stuff. I'm sorry, like, not in a negative way, but in like, I don't know. It's just, I can feel in my stomach how much it's, saying this. But I did go to college, counting. 2011, fine. 2012, this is when everything turned. Beginning 2012, the beginning of the fall semester. Went to college. My dad was starting to get sick all of a sudden, September, and I'm like, I was going to college, and I'm like, six or seven classes a week or something like that. And I noticed he's getting sick and really badly sick, and I'm like, I might have to take some classes off. Maybe go to 3 a week. 3 a week. In October, he really went. Then he got. It's before this, in 2011. He needed a new kidney. And obviously, not a new kidney. He couldn't get a new kidney because of cancer, right? Obviously. But he did get his kidney taken out at the hospital. 2011, just before, almost a full year before his passing. And that's a long wait in the waiting room, where you sit waiting for people you care about come out of surgery, and the doctor tells you everything went well or what. And it went well. Obviously, he needs dialysis because he has only one kidney. Due to having cancer, you can't get a kidney replacement due to the possibility of cancer coming back. Fast forward to October, like I said. It was October. I remember I took 6 classes or 3 classes in October. He had to go to the hospital again. I really didn't know why. He went to the hospital again. So I didn't think anything. I always thought, he's going to be fine. He's going to come back because it happened in the past. He gets sick, but he always comes home, right? He always comes home. So I did visit him in the hospital. And the doctors didn't know what's wrong. They were doing everything. It wasn't even the cancer. It was like something. I don't know what it was. I don't know specifically what it was. Maybe. And this one day, I got to work, like, this one night, I was told that he may not survive this. And my aunt told me this. And when I heard that, I didn't cry. But I did break down. My mind went somewhere else. I lost it. I wasn't yelling. But I lost it. I'm like, no, this is wrong. This is bullshit. I was like, this is bullshit. Take me home. This is a lie. He's gonna be fine. I was like, I didn't want to believe it, right? You don't want to believe stuff like that. When you care about someone, you don't want to believe they're dying. It's You don't want someone you love to die and being told they're possibly not going to survive this. I think anybody would lose it. I certainly did. And I remember the next few days, it was just me and him in his hospital room talking, because he knew, and I'm like, he made peace with it, and I'm like, he wants me to make peace with it. He made peace with it, basically. Or he's not gonna survive this. I'm like, I was like, how can you say that? How can you give up like that? Man, that hurts. I mean, it hurts. It hurts when you see somebody you care about in the hospital dying, man. And you're not going to survive whatever they have. I don't. It's like, it's not like it's not like you're dying, but it's like part of you are dying. It's like your heart is breaking because it's someone you love. It doesn't matter who you love. It doesn't matter if it's a friend, your child, your parents. It's still a piece of your heart is breaking. And then the next few days, I should have stayed over. I should have stayed over at the hospital overnight. But I decided to go home the next few days. He passed away. And one of my regrets was not staying overnight. And I do want to break down. Look, you can tell I'm trying to hold it in. And I went to the funeral. Obviously, I have to go to the funeral. I've been to funerals, but the idea of going for your funeral of your own parent or your whoever, for your parent, even parent, it's different than going to a funeral of somebody else in a way. It's different because it hits you harder, and I'm sure that for anybody who has a wife or a husband that passed away or their kids or whatever, it hits them harder. Not way of going to a funeral. Then going to a funeral, say for a family friends, relative passed away, it hits them harder. You still feel compassionate, sympathetic, but personally to you, it hits you harder, especially at the funeral, because you're looking down at somebody you care about one last time. They're laying down in the casket peacefully. And then after that, life has to move on, right? I mean, of course, because you're living. Life has to move on. I mean, I took college off for about 2 months. And I went to January. And I talked with the administration board or stuff like that. Did we do my schedule? Because obviously my semester schedule was already made in the early fall. And so I did that. Went to my first class. I'm going to admit, I wasn't ready. I was not ready. It was overwhelming. I stayed for the whole class. When the class was done, I went home. I'm like, yeah, I can't do this. I can't go back to school. I'm not mentally fit to go back to school right now. Because still getting over my father's passing. I'm still not over it. And he helps me a lot at school. Whereas college, even in college, the college work, I'm like, no, I can't do this. I wasn't ready, and I haven't gone back to college since. I mean, I know some college stuff, like some accounting techniques and stuff. If I remember them, but I still. And I'm like, fuck, man, I can't. I wasn't ready. And I think it's hard. I got jobs, stuff like that. I did stuff. And look, in 2012, I know, some people don't like the Hobbits trilogy, right? The movies. But I wanted to see that with my father in the theater because he's a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and he wanted to see Hobbit, obviously. But passed, and that came out in December, 2 months before, 2 months after his passing. I saw all three movies with him: Return of the King, Two Towers, and Fellowship. Huge Tolkien fan. But it was hard. I also I forgot to mention that 2005, his sister, my aunt, also had cancer, liver cancer, and that's a killer right there. And she passed away. And my grandfather was still alive at the time, 94, 90, no, maybe around 90, 91, 92. He passed away in 2010, but he was in the 90s. And he was a hard man, like, to know. He was old fashioned kind of hardened kind of guy. But at the funeral for my sister, he broke down. Like, really, really broke down. I remember that moment. I've never seen it. Like, well, obviously, yeah, because I know what my father described him like, and I visiting him times. He was a very hardened man, his his daughter, my father's sister, my aunt passing, broke him down. Really broke him down to where he actually did cry. So yeah, fast forward back. I couldn't go back to school. 2013, lived in a house with my mother at the time, and we sold the house. I was against it, selling the house. I didn't. I think it was an irrational move on her part because of the memories there. My dad did have one of his own study rooms where he does his work, computer, desk. As a teacher, right? Teachers should have like a room like that. A lot of people do. Going in that room with after his passing, it was like best way to describe it. It was a different feeling. It wasn't the same. He wasn't there. It was. I can't go in that room. Maybe it was better to sell the house and go and live in the condo. This is that one room. It wasn't the same. It's and so it's 2022, 2014, 2014, 15, 16, 17. Of course, my life moved on. Sometimes I did get better, but sometimes I didn't. I There's moods where I tend to be impulsive sometimes. I don't try to be. Fuck. Just thinking about my father. It's hard. I'll tell you something. It's a bitch. It's a bitch. I mean, I did have family that was there for me, but still not the same. And you know, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Sometimes I don't care if I live or die. I know that's very stupid to say on here, and stupid to admit it, but I should feel like Batman saying, "I don't care if I die." I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry, but you get the idea. I think some of you feel the same way. My grieving. I'm gonna admit this to you guys. I'm not ashamed to admit this. And I don't think you should be ashamed to admit this. When you go to sleep, you do think, like I do, right? Before my father's passing, every time I go to sleep, I do think of my father. I do think of my father eventually dying because of this, of what he had. And it made me upset, it made me cry, cause I like had a deep inside that it's eventually gonna happen, but I didn't want to accept it. As you could tell, I said earlier about being this, being in the hospital when was actually gonna possibly pass away, in which he did. It's like you're powerless to do anything. It's just except be there for them. Uh, and I admit I still cry when I sleep sometimes. I do tear up. And I admit this. I'm not afraid to miss. I do cry when I watch movies and TV shows at times because when I have family dynamic in some in situations like in movies and TV shows that are relatable, yeah, it gets to me. It gets to me. I'm not afraid to admit it. And I think, you know, I'm not afraid to admit it. But yeah, it's 2022 and I'm still not over my father. It's been 10 years. 10 years. And right now I don't feel like I'm all there. Like when I wake up, I'm coughing, it makes me sweat. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's just nervousness or like anxiety. I don't know. My biggest fear, I'll tell you my biggest fear, is that the cancer he has, wherever, is hereditary. Because he had it, and my aunt had cancer. My uncles don't, his brothers don't. But that's my biggest fear. And my God, my stomach, I'm so nervous talking about this. It's hard. And right now, I'm pretty much gonna cough. See, like that. I'm sorry. I see I'm sweating too because of that. You know what I want? I just want to sleep and never wake up again at times. I know that sounds like death, but I'll tell you this: I do like talking on people on family, friends, people on YouTube, whatever. I do like talking. I hate the drama, but I do like talking. But I think sometimes getting our personal feelings out, not towards each other, but towards us, our issues, our mental health problems. I think it's sometimes good. But right now, for me, I'm not inspired as much to do some streams. I'm not motivated. And probably in a week or two, I might be more motivated. I'm an up and down person usually. Uh, and yeah, this is pretty much my story. I do have a little bit of tears. You can't see them because they're not dripping. It's fucking sucked. My life And I'm sure there's others. It's not pleasant. I don't know if it's depression or it's just a mood I'm in right now. It just makes me that. Just makes me Just makes me not in the motivated to do any like to do streams. I don't have the energy at times. And that's what's scary. I feel like yeah, look at me. I'm not look. I don't look in bad shape, right, or anything like that, right? Like I'm gonna not gonna suffer a heart attack or anything like that. But I do feel like I'm gonna die young. I'm 34 years old, almost 35, but I do feel like I'm gonna die young. And I don't want to. I don't want to grow old and be miserable. Honestly, I don't want to be old and miserable. And look at this room. Some stuff here does make me happy, but it's not real happiness. It make you happy for a little bit. Video games can make you happy for a little bit, but it's not the same for caring for someone. It doesn't matter who, and you lose that person. You never truly. This. I'm gonna end it here. You have to. Sometimes you have to live with it, right? You have to live with it, but you're never gonna truly overget someone that you care about deeply, ever. Mm. And my problem is I think way too much, and it gets to me. I. And yeah, I'm gonna end it here, guys. Excuse me. Don't worry. Yeah, thank you guys. I know this is serious. If you know what, if you have the same problems, let me know. All right. Take care, guys.